Hi, welcome to Pilates Core Training. I'm Barbara Bruni. I'm also the owner of the Pilates Core Training Studio located in Pensacola, Florida. Thank you so much for tuning into these shows. If, however, you feel that you need further instruction, feel free to contact me through the same website, PensacolaPilates.com or PilatesCoreTraining.com. This is a fourth show in a series where I've started to go through Pilates from the breathing on up, all the basics, all the initial techniques that you need to further enhance your benefits from the Pilates work. Since this is the fourth show, I'm not going to go into a lot of talk on neutral spine. The shows are rerun from time to time, so please, if you're a beginner, tune in to get the very core principles of the movement. Before we get going, I will, however, review the breathing, and I will talk about neutral spine as we progress through the exercises. We're still in a beginner series, so it's very essential that you pay close attention to my cueing, and if you are an advanced student, it's always good to review and maybe hone in on your alignment principles. So with breathing, with all that said, sit in a comfortable position, either cross-legged or kneeling or in a chair, and place your hands on your rib cage. Take a nice deep breath and note how the rib cage expands. And as you exhale, note how the rib cage compresses. So we'll continue with that. As you inhale, as your rib cage expands, feel it expand not only forwards, but out to the sides and as well as towards the back of the room. So it's a three-dimensional type of an expansion of the rib cage. And along with that, as you inhale again and the ribs expand three-dimensionally, note what happens to your shoulders. If you tend to be a shoulder breather or a clavicular breather, you may find that your shoulders migrate up towards your ears as you inhale. It would look something like this. That's your auxiliary breathing. And we're going to try to loosen that up, especially if you're a person that tends to take in stress around the neck. So your thought here perhaps would be as you inhale and the ribs expand to get the feeling that the shoulder blades release down the back towards the top of the hips. So inhale through your nose, ribs will expand, shoulders release down your back. As you exhale, feel the rib cage compress, and it's as if your ribs move in towards each other and slightly down towards the hips. So it's almost like a funnel or a tornado shape. Inhale, the ribs will expand up and out. And exhale, the ribs will compress in and down. So as we go through these exercises, as I say, funnel the ribs towards the pelvis or towards the hips, you'll refer to that feeling of getting the muscles not only in between the ribs, but your abdominals, a lot of your ab muscles attached to your ribs. And that is what's going to give you the stability to maintain the neutral spine. One more thing to think about as you're breathing is not only are the ribs expanding, shoulders staying relaxed as you inhale, as you exhale, the shoulders still reach wide to the side, the ribs compress in and down like a funnel, and get the feeling that your navel is pulling in and up. Ribs in and down, navel in and up. And that's going to give you the stability to hold the pelvis in a neutral position, as well as give your abdominals a lot more strength. So I like to think about that pulling the navel in and up like you're putting on a pair of tight jeans and you barely get them up, and then you got to zip them. So that feel of zipping up and then keeping those transverse, that lower band of abdominals, in and tight. Let's go ahead and lie flat on our backs. We'll start with the legs in what I call a tabletop position, 90-degree bend at the hips, 90-degree bend at the knees. Level out the pelvis to neutral, meaning you're not jamming your low back into the mat, nor are you arching way up off the mat. Your knees are going to be directly over your hips, not in towards your chest unless you feel back strain. But if you've got a healthy back, try to keep your knees over your hips. Your ribs will be against the mat, but not your low back. You could stick a pencil or something under there and there would be no problem. So as you exhale, you're going to tap one foot towards the floor and inhale, bring it up. So we will alternate that. Exhale, funnel the ribs, pull the belly in and up. Inhale, release. And let's go 6. And inhale. And exhale, 5. And up. Exhale through the mouth as you keep your jaw and neck relaxed. Shoulders staying wide to the sides. Chin staying slightly down if you have a tendency on protruding the chin. Here's the last two. And exhale here. Last one. Now connect the inner thighs, the feet touch. If that exercise was pretty intense for you, continue on to another set. If it was quite easy or you feel like you can do some more, you can go into lowering both legs together at the same time. Going down towards the floor. You may or may not be able to touch the floor without this happening. So this is what you're trying to avoid, letting the ribs come apart and everything go. So even though there's no movement of your torso, there is a ton of work going on inside your abs and your back to maintain the pelvis from rocking forward and back. Let's do 3 more. Exhale, tap down. And I get asked a lot, how far do I take my feet? Only as far as you can maintain the ribs imprinted into the mat and the pelvis in neutral. And hold here. Let's hold on to the backs of the thighs, and we're going to roll up. The principle of rolling up would be, we'll do the first one slowly. Lift your head off the mat, and then get the feel here, dropping the breastbone down or funneling the sternum down. Continue to funnel the ribs, pull the belly in. Now press your low back into the mat and roll it up. Inhale at the top and exhale, tail tuck, pull the belly in, let the low back touch first and then the ribs and down. So if this is happening, shoulders down and hike up with a straight back, or maybe not come up at all. That's okay. We want to be able to employ the abdominals to roll up and to get a very round spine. So use your vision to help you roll up. Keep your gaze, your vision ahead of your movement. So it would be like this. As you lift, your vision goes along the ceiling to your thighs, down to your belly, stays on your belly as you inhale, and then exhale, retraces from your belly along your thighs to the wall, to the ceiling. Let's try that all on an exhale. Exhale, lift the head, the shoulders drop, the sternum, funnel the ribs, pull the belly in, and hold here. Try not to straighten up. Stay in a round spine or a posterior pelvic tilt. And then on your way down, exhale and track your vision. And let's do 6 more. Exhale and lift. And now we're going to try to get a rhythm going here. Inhale at the top. And exhale and roll it down. And 5 more. And as you do these, watch the tendencies of your upper back and shoulders. Note if you tend to hike your shoulders and scrunch your chest to help you down or up. And let's go for 3. So keep those shoulders streaming wide, pulling down the back, just as we did on the initial breathing work. And 2 more. So everything we do is an add-on. Nothing changes. The breath doesn't change. The alignment principles don't change. We just add on. And let's do 1 more. Exhale, round the spine. Keep the belly from popping up. Inhale. And exhale. And roll it down. Okay, let's place your feet on the mat so that they're hip socket width apart. Little body awareness. Your hip sockets are not very far apart from each other. So your feet may be 4 to 5, maybe 6 inches apart, not way out here in line with the outsides of your hips. So the hip sockets. So you're in what's considered a parallel alignment. Your ankles, your knees, and your hips are all in the same straight line. We're going to bridge. To initiate the bridge, tilt your pelvis in an anterior tilt. If you had a glass of water on your low abs, it would slide between your legs and onto the floor, tipping the top of your pelvis forward or anteriorly. As you exhale, press in the opposite way. Press your low back into the mat or the top of your pelvis posteriorly back into the mat. Take another breath here. And as you exhale, lift one vertebra at a time off the mat. Very, very controlled until you're standing in between the shoulder blades, not behind your head. Your ribs are down. Your pelvis is in line with your ribs, so it's not going in. You're not losing your control. This is not integrated. So when I talk about integration, my ribs are not in the same plane as my pelvis. You want to bring your pelvis and your ribs in an equal line with each other. So ribs down, that exhale we initially talked about where the ribs funnel down towards the pelvis and zip the pubic bone towards the belly button. Note when you're up in this position, what happens to your thighs and your feet? A lot of times the tendency here would be to let the feet roll to the side and your knees point wide and to lose this parallel alignment. Let's get right into this linear space here where you feel all four corners of the feet, so to speak, into the mat or foot. Now, and your knees are like arrows coming out of the hip sockets. Okay. How are your hamstrings? Let's take a break, yes, and roll down one rib at a time, employing and finding those deep abdominals to allow the low back to touch before the hips. Let's put all that together now. Let's inhale and lift into an anterior tilt. Exhale, one breath, peeling off the mat. First your tailbone, then your low back. First rib, second rib, third rib, until you're standing between your shoulder blades. Organize your parallel. Inhale into the ribs. Exhale and funnel. One rib comes down at a time, then your low back, deep abdominals, and then the top of your pelvis, and then your tailbone, and inhale. And exhale, lift up as if you're just rolling up a carpet, bone by bone. Think about reaching long through your thighs like your kneecaps are going to touch the wall in front of you, as well as watch the shoulders here. Keep them wide and imprinted. And then exhale, pull the abs in, navel in and up, ribs in and down. And inhale, and let's go 2 more times. Exhale and roll. So this is articulation of the spine. Rolling bone by bone up and rolling bone by bone down. We'll do one more. Let me just show you the tendency. A lot of times our backs lose the flexibility, and this is very difficult, and this happens just up and down, and up and down. And we're just kind of leveraging on the shoulder blades. Get more of a sense of feeling deep abdominals and this sense of stretching out along the low back. Lengthen the thighs. Roll it up and roll it back down. Okay, let's move on from there. The first true exercise in the Pilates repertoire is called the 100. We're going to do it with bent knees, and as we progress through this series, we'll eventually straighten our legs. The 100 position holds the upper body flexion, and then it uses the movement of the arms to challenge the flexion. So you don't want the arms to use their weight to cause weakness. You want to resist the movement of this arm pulsing. You also are preventing the shoulders from coming in and around. So there's a lot going on. So as I cue, listen to the cues and tune into what I'm saying here. Let's level the pelvis here to neutral. Knees are directly over the hips. So let's take them out to our 90-degree angle. Lowest rib is against the mat. Your neck is very free here. If you have trouble with your neck, place your hands behind your head and avoid the arm movement. How are your abs? Or you can keep one hand behind your head and do one arm at a time. Okay? Otherwise, stay here. And now exhale to prepare. Widen across the shoulders, pull the belly in, and inhale here 5 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Inhale here. And exhale here. 20. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 30. Inhale through your nose, let the ribs expand. And exhale through your mouth, let the ribs compress. And inhale, 2. And exhale, reaching long through your arms. Don't let your arms flounder here. And inhale, 2. And exhale, check if your pelvis is still in neutral or if you're jamming your low back into the mat. And inhale, 2. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 90. Last set, inhaling. Neck is free, shoulders relaxed as you exhale. And lower down. Let's roll on to your sides. So on side work, it's still the same principles. Nothing has changed. We're just orienting ourselves a bit differently here to gravity. You're going to bend your arm and let your head rest on your arm. Tendency is to go here, and if you've been watching Pilates tapes, you may see some instructors hold their head like this. I don't like it. I don't teach this. I think that it shortens one side of the waist and over lengthens. It causes a discrepancy in the symmetry of the pelvis and the muscles along the spine. So I like to keep your head down, lengthen your legs so that your feet are stacked, one over the other. And when that happens, you're going to find, depending on, everybody's different, but you're going to find that your waist lifts up off the mat. A little space here that I'll refer to as your mouse house for ease of cueing. And then slide your feet slightly forward so you're not in a straight line. Legs come slightly forward. Same action here on the breathing to the movement. Let's inhale, lift a leg. Exhale, lower down. And that looks pretty easy, and it is. But I don't want you to think about the leg action here, as I want you to think about the abdominal work that is going along with this move. Let's inhale, lift your leg. Exhale, funnel the ribs, pull the belly in. Inhale through your nose, ribs expand, shoulders stay relaxed. Exhale through your mouth, a little glute squeeze. Draw the zipper up. Let's go 5. Keeping the mouse house. Challenge your body to keep the space under your waist as you lift and lower your leg. And last one, and we're going to add on to this some heel beats. Inhale, lift your top leg. Reach your bottom leg up to meet it without dropping out of your mouse house or rolling back off of your hip onto your butt over behind you. Stay right up on your hip bone. So it's inhale, tap, exhale, lengthen and lower. And let's go 6. Exhale down and 5. Exhale down and 4. Exhale and 3. Don't try to make this movement larger than it needs to be. It's all about the control here, keeping the navel in, ribs down, tail tucked, mouse house in alignment, shoulders relaxed, and now glue the heels together. Exhale as you lift. Inhale, lower down, keeping the mouse house. So watch if the feet have come apart, allowing the waist to drop down into the mat. Watch as well if your low back takes this move and your legs swing behind you. You want to put the work in the core, so let's try to keep all those principles in mind as we do 3, and exhale 2, and exhale 1. Let's keep the bottom leg on the floor, top leg hip level, and do some leg circles here. As you do these leg circles, there's no movement of your body, no swinging of the pelvis. Everything stays very tight and controlled, as if your body was in a vise. You still have your mouse house. Exhale as you bring the leg behind you, using your hip extensors, your glute muscles, to take the leg back. And let's go 3. Exhale back 2 and 1, and switch directions for 10. And exhale back 9, 8. What's happening to your shoulders? You're breathing. 6, 5, 4. Exhale back 3, 2, and last 1. Let's repeat this on the other side. Let's just move right into it. Bend your bottom arm, place your head on your arms, lengthen your top leg out to meet your bottom. Find your mouse house, leg slightly forward of center, and lift and lower your top leg just to get the movement going. Challenge this movement. Don't go too high. Keep your kneecap facing straight ahead. As you lift your leg, you're maintaining your mouse house. You're keeping your abs in control of the movement here. And let's now add on. Inhale, lift, tap, and exhale together. And 7, and exhale down. Imagine you have a quarter between your knees or between your inner thighs here, and you're squeezing it all the way down. You're not going to drop it. And let's go 4. Cinching the ribs and the belly together. 5. Whoops, counting the wrong way. 3. And 2. And last 1. And glue the heels together. Exhale here as you go up. Inhale down. And it's 7. And 6, don't lose the connection here between the heels. If you tend to have a bit of valgus knee or a knock knee type of situation or alignment, then your knees will be together, your feet will be apart. But in any sense, you want to keep the inner thighs connected here. And 2, and 1. And leg circles. Exhale as the leg goes behind you. Keep pulling the navel in. You don't want to let go of the abdominal connection and go into the low back. We're stabilizing the low back, working the abdominals. Keeping the rectangle, shoulder to shoulder, hip bone to hip bone. And last 4, last 3, 2, and switch directions here. Exhale back 10. And 9. Pay attention to your shoulder alignment and your breathing. Check in here to see that you're not creating too much tension in the neck, shoulders, and upper back. And it's 4. Reaching long through your leg. And last 2. And last 1. For the very last exercise today, we're going to go over some back extension. Back extension, and today we'll talk about thoracic back extension or extension through the rib cage versus going into the low back. Place your fingertips directly under your hip sockets. Take a moment to organize. This is all going to sound familiar. Lengthen your legs, pull your belly in and up, funnel your ribs down, and you'll feel your pelvis is flat against the mat. So you'll feel your hip bones and you'll feel your pubic bone, those 3 bony palpations against the mat. Maintain that as you inhale and lift just your mid-upper back, and exhale and lower down and reorganize. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower down. Let's go 3 more. Inhale, paying attention to lengthening through the neck. Keep the shoulder blades pulling away from the ears away from the shoulders, and exhale down. And 2 more. So here you're not experiencing any compression in the low back. Try to put the feeling rather between the shoulder blades, and be careful of your neck. Keep your neck nice and long. And let's do 1 more. Inhale up. And exhale, lower down. Pull back here to child's pose where you're sitting back on your heels, and give your low back a nice stretch here in a moment to relax. Let's roll it up. Turn to the side. We'll end with a quick side stretch here, just to stretch in the other direction. Let's stack your knees and stack your feet. Hold on to your top ankle. Walk your standing arm in until your shoulders are level and your neck is straight up and down. Bring your arm up and inhale. Exhale as you reach up and over. Look straight ahead rather than down or up, so that your neck is in a nice straight line. Reach your arm long. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Inhale and expand this top rib. And exhale, release it. Take your legs to the other side. Quick stretch here. Hold on to your ankle. Walk your arm in. Level out your shoulders. Inhale, arm comes up. Exhale, straight over. No rotation here of the spine. Arm long, shoulders long. Out of the ears. Inhale, feel the expansion. And exhale and lower down. Thanks for joining us today. I look forward to having you tune in to future shows. Bye-bye.